On Plat Chat yesterday, there was an interesting topic brought up that I've seen Sliggy and Brennan Sideshow bring up before as well about how to manage the economy on the third round. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about here, right, let's take a look at this example here from G2 versus Lev. It's the third round of this half, round number 15, and this is what it currently looks like, right? G2 have won the pistol round, and they've won the second round right here, so they're going into what is normally a bonus round. But if we take a look at their buy, you can see here that Leaf has just bought a rifle, right? He now won't have money for the next round, and the same is true here. Valorant has actually bought, I think, for Icy here, but you know, essentially we've got two players who are buying back into this round and now can't buy if they were to lose this round in the fourth round. And Sliggy was arguing that this was a bad idea on Plat Chat yesterday.
So much stuff like this as well, like, and in the current economy as well, and like these guys are normally ahead of the meta or like starting the meta. How could they are so far behind in the meta? I saw this in the G2 game. That's what I was referring to earlier, where it's like you win pistol, you win the next bonus, and then third round, third round, you take this as a bonus, but they're doing the what I call the NA buy, where they buy like 2 guns into it. So then it gets to the fourth round, and then you've got to eco, and then you give the opportunity for the other team to get more money and get more ults. And it's like, how are we still doing this? Like, look at literally every game this split. It's all pistol into snowball, perfect Valorant, and we're here behind buying into the third round, making sure we don't have a bonus. Like the money gets reset. We're not playing CS. It's fine to lose a game. Like, it's fine to lose a round and then reset the money. It's not like it goes down one. It literally gets full reset. So why are we trying to win the third round so heavy and then having to eco? It makes no sense in this game.
That was Sliggy there talking about Fnatic as well, who are doing this. And so we're going to analyze both Fnatic and G2 and their approach to this third round buy, because I personally don't believe it is as cut and dry. It's not that I disagree with Sliggy. I do agree with him in some ways there, but I do think there are arguments for doing this as well and what they're doing. So let's take a look here at Fnatic versus Foot, where Fnatic are going to do exactly what we say. So this is their second round, right? Fnatic have won the pistol, and then in this second round here, it's not going to go perfectly well for them. They do end up winning the round, but as we can see, 2 people have already died. So by the time that we end this round here, right, we get to this point here, and eventually Fnatic are going to, win this round with 3 people alive, right? So 2 people have died, but they did win the round. 2 people need to, rebuy or go for a bonus or something, right? So we get to round 3, and Fnatic have done this. Okay, so again, if we take a look at Fnatic's economy right here, you can see that Leo has a rifle now, right? And he doesn't have enough money to rebuy. And also Boaster has bought either a Bulldog or bought someone else. I can't remember, but he doesn't have money to buy either, right? So we got 2 people who are rebuying this round. And actually, in this case, and this is going to be the reason for this, right? Because take a look at what happens. Fnatic actually end up winning this round. I mean, fuck, go for this awful CXX. I mean, let's just take a look at this CXX in a second. Take a look at this. I mean, it's just a dash in and just death. Just awful, right? Just awful from Foot right there. And this is why I can't believe that this comp won on this map again. Oh my god, it's bad, right? Oh my god, awful. And they end up actually winning this round with 4 people alive, right? So, hey, they won the round, right? They bought back in and they won the round. And this really is the argument for it, because if we take a look at what the economy looks like now it looks like this, right? So now, Fnatic, take a look, right? We've got full rifles and we've all got, at least some money. And some of these players have a lot of money, in behind here. We're 3-0 up and we're looking good. And the thing is as well, look at Foot's buy, right? Because Foot now are back on an eco. Right, so they're now on an eco again. So in theory, if you're Fnatic and you're thinking about this, we're already 3-0 up, right? So that's good. We're 3-0 up. We've got massive eco here as well on some of these players, which should, in this round, in theory, be built up even more. Now, they did actually end up losing this next round. But, you would think that this round, with the buys the way that they are, this is going to be like, an 80% plus win, right? Probably with multiple people alive, given Foot's buy. So you're feeling pretty good that you can build up this eco even more and be 4-0 up. Right, which is crazy, crazy strong, right? And so that, I think, is really the reason that they're going for this, that they're hoping to go, okay, we're going to win this round as well. And then, even if Foot, won the next 3, right? Even if all these 3 were losses, we'll still probably have a buy. Right, like we'll still probably be buying, and all of these wins are going to have to be against full buys as well for Foot, because we're building up so much of an eco, because we've won this third round and we're just looking to go crazy, right? And that's kind of, I guess, somewhat the argument for going for this third round more aggressive buy, you might say. However, let's look at the other side of the coin, right? In the G2 game, where they, again, have gone for this aggressive force here, but in this one, G2, they don't end up winning the round, right? Of course, yeah, when you win the round, it's going to be good for you, right? Because they're probably going to have the eco, so you're probably going to win another round after that. Yeah, that makes sense, but what happens when this happens, right? What happens when you would just all die, right? And you don't win the round, and you end up in this spot? Well, now, you know, to those two people who bought, they can't buy back in, right? So you might be left in a spot like this, where now it's the opposite, you know, the shoe's on the other foot, where all of a sudden we're on a kind of like weird half buy here, and now our opponents have the chance to build up the eco, as Sliggy was saying, right? Like, now you've given them the chance to, you know, start building up their eco if they can win this round cleanly, and so now you're really on the back foot. But here's my argument or pushback, I would say, of that idea in general, is that G2 are making a massive mistake here. And what G2 are doing here makes absolutely no sense. Because after you lose this round, if you are going to, like, you know, go for an aggressive purchase here on, say, for instance, 2 players like G2 did, you should never eco this round. Never. I mean, literally never. For those reasons that Sliggy is saying, right? Like, you're letting your opponent build up their economy or whatever. 3 people can still buy, right? The 3 people who didn't buy into the last one, they can still buy, right? You've still got 3 guns here. Buy. Go for it. Don't let them build up. You should go for this 100% of the time. This is a massive blunder. A massive blunder. Because 2 people can't buy? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're on attack side Lotus, man. Not everyone needs a gun. Right? You can pretty much choose who's going to take those first fights. It doesn't make any sense, right? Like, if you were G2 in this situation, if I'm their coach, I'm saying, like, yeah, buy and leave. Just chill, right? Valorant, just chill. Like, you two don't need to take the first fight anyway, right? If we want to take a 1v1, Johnny, you go walk out on A if you want to do that. If we want to just do an exec, well, our Fade and Raze also have guns, right? Or if you wanted to drop it to different people, then drop it to different people. Doesn't matter. 3 guns, you can win around with 3 guns, right? Particularly on attack side where you can often choose who's most likely to take that first fight. You can win around with 3 guns because, yeah, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense to let them have the chance to build up a massive bank because you've gone for an eco. That doesn't make any sense at all. Because that's the crucial point when it comes to economy management, particularly in the early part of a game. It is a 2-player game. Okay, this is a trap that a lot of people run into when it comes to understanding Valorant economy and stuff like that. It is not a 1-player game in most scenarios, right? There are some fringe scenarios where it is kind of a 1-player game, like if the other team has like literal max creds, right? Then it kind of becomes a 1-player game because they're going to buy anyway, right? So that's like, so there are some scenarios where it's a 1-player game, but particularly at the start of a half, it is definitely a 2-player game, and you have to balance kind of both your economy and what is likely to happen to your opponent's economy, right? So going for kind of early eco, kind of like passive like G2 here, like giving them the chance to build theirs up when it's in a rough spot, that is not a good idea. So now let me talk about some scenarios of when I think it is good to go for it and when I think maybe you shouldn't go for it, right? So let's take a look at Fnatic as our example here. One scenario where I think you should just go for it is if everyone dies in the second round. Right, if everyone dies in the second round and you basically need to rebuy on everyone, assuming that you have the money to actually buy proper rifles, right? Probably you're going to be on attack side if that is the case. But if that is the case and you do have enough money to buy rifles on everyone, I think that you should. And you should just treat this like a normal round, right? Because basically they're going to have no money on the other side. You're going to have no money on your side. And you should just be thinking like, hey, let's just go for it. Because if you go for the other example, right, of going for a big eco here instead, if everyone has died, well, then again, you're just going to be on a massive eco because you're on first loss bonus. So you're really not going to have anything at all. And you're really going to give them the chance to just build up their economy probably with like a flawless. And again, you're going to be behind on the eco overall there. So if everyone dies, I think you should go for it. Same is probably true if just one person dies as well. If it's just one person rebuying, again, if you end up not winning the round and, you know, this guy can't buy or has to go for like a Bulldog Lights or something in the round after, okay, who cares? But for me, it gets a bit more messy in the kind of 2 people to 4 people have died range in the second round, because then you start to weigh the risks versus the benefits, and it could be different depending on the situation. Because really, all that matters here is how likely do you think you are of winning the third round, right? Which comes down to many different factors outside of just the economy, right? Like, what map are you on? What side of that map are you on, right? What's your team comp? Is it attack sided? Is it defense sided, in your opinion? Is there any big ults online for either team, right? Are you one off a Raze ult and you just need an ult orb on Lotus attack side, and then you can just go and Raze ult your opponent and potentially be in a 5v4 post plant? Like, you know, that's probably worth going for if that's the case. But if there's no big ults that you could potentially get, then, you know, maybe it's not so worth it, right? So little details like that, I think, should be weighed into the factoring of this. And I think in particular, you know, when you're watching G2 and then they're saving round 4, like, what are they doing, right? Because they're clearly not really weighing those factors. They're just doing it because they've been told to do it, or that's what they think they should do. But then they're not really playing to like the actual outs of the situation and kind of not understanding why they should be doing it in the first place.